Welcome back, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight is an author, podcaster, and Emmy and Peabody award-winning journalist, and the anchor of Anderson Cooper 360 on CNN. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Mr. Anderson Cooper. Hi, Anderson.
How you doing?
Nice to see you.
Nice
You know,
to see
we led the monologue tonight.
Yeah.
We led the show tonight with some news from over the K-File over there on
That's
CNN.
right. Yeah.
About what's going on with Mark Robinson and his
lots going on.
His predilections. Are you leading tonight with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard not to.
Yeah. What?
Hard not to.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I didn't know that porn sites had comment sections.
I was surprised to hear this too.
I mean, is this a common thing? Like, do a lot of porn sites have?
It's a community, Anderson.
I mean, really?
It's about togetherness.
Is that why people are watching porn, so they can
just to
talk?
Be with each other, exactly. To share a common interest. Who are we to judge?
I'm not judging about. I mean, he's judging because you know, he seems.
Yeah.
I was fascinated by his apparent porn selections.
Yes, for someone who has criticized the trans community,
that's right.
That was one of his turn-ons.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because I was backstage and I wrote down one of his comments, which
that's journalism. We're watching journalism in action right here.
Well, by the way, my son was playing with crayon, so I wrote it in crayon.
That is upsetting.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
One of his comments was about the trans porn and how excited that he liked it. And I guess the reason he said he liked it is because it takes the man out while leaving the man in.
That sounds like a Zen koan somehow. Okay, I want to talk about another. You don't mind if we talk about work, do you?
Sure. CNN? Yeah, of course.
All right.
No problem.
Well, on Sunday, Dana Bash asked J.D. Vance about his immigration lies and stuff like that, and you know, all the cat eating and the dog eating and knowing that it's not true and all that kind of stuff, and it's not happening.
I think he just was talking about cats, and then I think it was Trump at the debate who added in dogs. I might be wrong. I haven't double-checked it, but that's just from memory.
Thank you for fact-checking me. That's what. She said, like, why are you still doing this when you know it's not true? And he goes, quote, "If I have to create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do." What do you make of a statement like that? And would you like to apologize to J.D. Vance for not reporting on things that don't happen? I mean, it's a two-way street.
Unlike a lot of people in public life, I do believe in apologizing for things that one gets wrong, but this is not something I would apologize for, because I didn't get anything wrong here, and Dana Bash did an amazing job in this interview. What was interesting, once she pointed out to him what he had just said, that he is creating these stories, and, you know, apparently seems like out of whole cloth. He says that these are, you know, nobody has confirmed these reports, and all the elected officials there say there's no evidence of this widespread eating of cats and dogs in the Haitian community, which is also obviously based on sort of racist tropes he then followed up. He sort of realized, I think, what he had accidentally said, and so then he sort of stumbled, he delayed for a while, and then he finally said, well, we're creating the American media focusing on it, which is grammatically incorrect, and it grammatically doesn't make sense, and is probably just nonsense.
You interviewed the mayor of Springfield, Ohio, Rob Rue.
Yep. He's thrilled, obviously. Yeah, really thrilled.
You can't buy this kind of publicity.
I mean, look, they've had thousands of kids out of school for days. They've had bomb threats at schools. You know, kids once again doing like remote learning. Some colleges, I think, were doing that.
Go back to the bomb threats for a second. Bomb threats are acts of terrorism, by definition, and those were incited by the senator from Ohio saying these things.
Which Dana pointed out that these followed his statements, he took umbrage with that and says that there's no connection between, you know, all the bomb threats and the schools being evacuated and closed down and the comments he made. But I didn't know of a lot of other people focusing on Springfield prior to this. So
he also said, stop talking about the people of Springfield, I believe.
I think he said, shut up to Dana Bash. Yeah, which again, for
so he's a gentleman.
Yes, for a once highly regarded author, he has a way with words.
What do you do? What do you, yeah. You interviewed him for the book when it was out?
I think I did.
Yeah.
I think I did, yes.
That's a kind of a, he's kind of aggressive. Of course, the entire Trump campaign is kind of aggressive with reporters and anchors and journalists. What do you do when you're faced with a really aggressive guest? How common is that?
I mean, you know, it happens. I mean, it happens with some regularity. So in the interviews, I've gotten to a place where basically I try to just research everything the person has said, much like you do, ahead of time, if it's a politician, because they generally...
Enormous research.
Yes. They generally...
His name is Anderson.
Right. He's very pale. Yeah, generally they repeat themselves. So you try to do as much research as you can, and then I try to just zone in on things that somebody has said which are just incorrect, which are just factually incorrect, and then I try to present them with what has occurred. And it's always interesting to see how they choose to respond. Sometimes they choose to attack you, and
sometimes they see fact-checking as an act of hostility on your behalf.
Yes, and they will attack you, and I think that's interesting for viewers to watch as well. I don't take it personally. I think it's an interesting strategy.
It's journalism in itself, in that you're revealing to the audience their character or how they deal with pressure.
And if they choose not, I mean, there's nothing more satisfying in an interview where you don't feel obligated to like ask the 10 questions that you've planned out in advance, and if somebody isn't answering, to just repeatedly ask the same question or give them the opportunity to answer it multiple times. And if they don't, then that tells the audience something as well.
We have to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Anderson Cooper, everybody. Stick around.